Oh, today we're taking a look at a very special Gundam kit for a few reasons. So number one, this is going to be the Hardgraph Core Fighter. And so number one, it's not a very typical kind of Gundam model kit. This is technically a Gunpla model kit, but it's obviously much more of like an aircraft model kit, so that makes it a little bit different. Number two, I don't think that I've ever built any of the Hardgraph kits before, so for me it's my first time building any of the Hardgraph series kits, which is cool. I've never built one. The third and probably most important reason is that the reason that I even have this kit is because it was gifted to me by my dear friends there in Chile when I went and visited Chile there and participated in the event a few years ago then. They gifted this kit to me, and it's just been sitting in my backlog collecting dust, so I'm sorry to them that it's taken me so long to build the kit and enjoy it, but it's about time, so let's go ahead and build the Hardgraph FFX7 Core Fighter. And of course, again, another big thank you to my friends in Chile. Thank you guys so much. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first, let's just take a moment to admire this beautiful box art here that we have on the front. It's a pretty thin box here, as you'll see. It's not necessarily very thick at all, but we have a lot of space here on the front to have this beautiful, beautiful painting of Amuro, Sayla, and some crew members there. And you can see just some beautiful detail there on the Core Fighter itself, from the markings to some like weathering and everything on there, just looking really, really nice there for the box artwork. Very cool. Around over here on this side of the box, we've got some information there in Japanese, and then a look at the Core Fighter, built, painted, and weathered and decaled everything up. It's really more of an aircraft model than it is a Gundam model. It just happens to be an aircraft from the Gundam series. Here's a look at some variations too that you can do with this. So cool that they've got that on there. Some artwork for some different variations. And then around here on this side, a look at some more of what we got in here. We've got little pilot character figures for Amuro, Sayla, and then a crew member there, some option parts for them as well, some more information there, and then some more details about the kit. You can see this is on an action base there that's usually used for 1/44 scale kits, so it's not going to be necessarily very large. It's 1/35 scale. And then we got some more detailed images about this. It looks like it can actually fold up, so it is going to be functional if you wanted to display it in a way to have it folded up like it was going to be loaded into the Gundam, I suppose. And then over here, a look at how the kit is going to look like with everything that's included, and some more details about some of the parts there. It looks like the MSRP for this one coming in at 4,500 yen. And for a kit like this, I feel like that's a pretty reasonable price tag. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of our contents, everything inside of here, starting off with the instruction manual and decals, stickers. We'll get to that just a second. For the instruction manual here on the front, got a bunch of text down there at the bottom, and then that same box art illustration there in the background. On the backside, we got some pro modeler real advice here, so that's probably worth taking a look at that, checking the translation for that, just for the fun of it. We got another look at the variation design here. I guess this would be probably for like the G3 Gundam. It'd be in this particular color scheme there, like that, with a couple of like gray two-tone color scheme. You got the color mixtures for that as well up there. And this is cool. Here we've got some more information on the inside and a bunch of illustration works. So like mechanical illustrations, pilot illustrations, illustrations here even about the like pistol, weapon, everything. Crew member illustrations, so a lot of really cool, useful illustrations here. If you're a fan of this particular kind of stuff, I mean, there's a lot of really great stuff in here. I wonder about how much of this is included in any of like the mechanical archives books for like the ARC-782. But it's pretty cool stuff to see here in the manual. Going on to the next page here, we've got our parts list, which is not too extensive. It doesn't have a ton of parts here, I don't think. And here's going to be our just kind of assembly guide for the character figures. Not really like showing like, typically like how it shows like which parts are done in which way and everything, but just kind of showing which parts go where to make our 3 different character figures there, it looks like. And then we're on into the construction of the rest of the kit. Now myself, not having ever really built any kind of aircraft model, so it'll be certainly very interesting for me, because I know there's like a little bit different kind of way to go about the construction process, especially if you're going to be painting, which I'm not going to be painting the kit right now at this moment. But speaking of which, here are the center pages is the painting guide, also the decal guide. You can see right there, the color guides down there at the bottom. Over here on this side, painting guides for the figures as well, if you wanted to stick to like the official coloring. Some more reference images over here just to kind of show you where everything's going to go, all the different colors and markings and everything. So a lot of great reference images. The rest is the construction here, it looks like, till you get to the very end, just quickly about how to transform the kit. And let's go ahead and check out these water slide decals. We do have some foil stickers included as well, basically just for some white bits, a couple little tiny little like chrome finish stickers right there, looks like. And then for the water slides, quite an extensive sheet here. We've got a bunch of really cool markings, a lot of like the smaller caution markings and everything like that in black, white, gray, yellow, red, and then some of the larger markings and everything in here. Looking really, really cool. That's pretty awesome. All right, and so the A runner here is gonna be in a dark gray. You can see some parts like for the wheels, some of the mechanical bits on there, and this kind of trailer hitch sort of system there. I think that's what that part is. Runner B here in this nice red color is gonna have some of the larger parts and some smaller parts on there too. A good mix and a lot of really nice detail on here. As you would expect, again, with this essentially being like an aircraft model, very similar type of details you're gonna see on here, lots of rivet details and things like that, so it looks really nice. Runner C also here in red, and again, a lot of really great details on here, mostly the kind of wing parts you can see there on that runner. Runner D is here in a very slightly off-white color there, for a bunch more details, including some of these smaller parts like for the missiles and things like that that are going to go under the wings. Runner E is going to have all of our blue parts. We don't have a whole lot of them, but there's all those. Again, a lot of great detail you can see on those parts. Runner F is some more mechanical detail parts here in a kind of dark brownish gray color there. And then runner G, once again in a kind of off-white color here, is going to be all the parts for our character figures. So we've got all like the main body parts, then some of like the option parts you've got over there as well for our 3 character figures. And then lastly, here in a smoke clear, we've got runner H for our clear parts, the canopy, and then a few other little bits there in clear. That's it for the runners. Let's go ahead and check this kit out. Alright guys, so here it is all built up, and without doing anything to it, this is just snap built directly out of the box. And I will tell you guys, this is definitely going to be a bit more of like a traditional like military style model kit than your standard Gunpla. So you are probably going to want to use some glue on a couple spots, probably want to do a little bit extra modeling work on this. You don't have to. This is just snap built. I didn't do anything else. I didn't glue anything yet. And that's just because I want to present the kit to you guys as sort of a blank canvas and kind of show you what all you have to work with the kit, and then like you can take that and make it your own. But just letting you guys know right now that this is definitely going to take a little bit more finesse than your standard Gundam model kit. But let's go ahead and take a closer look. So just to take a look around the kit here in hand to give you guys a sense of the kit, and we'll talk about like some of the features here before we get into the accessories and a little bit more about it. But it is definitely cool having a core fighter of this size, being in 1/35 scale. It's definitely going to be, you know, pretty large compared to any other version of the core fighter that you're going to get. Even with something like the PG, is still only going to be like that big or something, right? In total length from front to back, it's going to be around 22 centimeters, so a pretty good size. And as you're seeing it now, obviously, I could just like set this down, but we do have a landing gear for this that you're going to be able to set this on. You do have an action-based adapter for this as well if you wanted to have it flying. So there's different ways to display it, of course. And a reminder about the stickers too. I didn't put these stickers on. Most of those white stickers are for going around the trim of the canopy. Just went ahead and left that off there for now to see that you guys again can just kind of see everything as it is. So all of like that trim of the canopy is like a molded detail there. So if you want to just mask and paint that, that's going to be the way to go for that. But just to give you guys a look at some of all the really nice surface detail that you have on here, a bunch of detail all around, which all looks really nice. So if you're going to be painting this kit, or at the very least just like panel lining and maybe some decals and top coat, because you do have all those really nice waterside decals as well. So a little bit of panel lining and putting on some of the decals and top coat, and I think you'd be set. It would be looking really nice. Of course, if you want it to really look its best, you know, painting is going to be the way to go. But overall, just on like the construction of the kit, putting the kit together, there was a couple of tricky bits, in particular like around the cockpit section, like at the very beginning of the build, that it was a little bit tricky to do without glue. So again, I would recommend you guys to just have some glue prepared to do some of the more detailed aspects of the construction. So the cockpit will fold back inside there, which is really cool. But inside the cockpit there, you've got a ton of great detail, from like the controls and all the buttons and everything to all your different meters and everything in there. Not exactly sure what the right terminology is, but for right there at the front, and there's even like a clear part that goes in behind there. So like all the little instruments and everything are actual like little clear details in there. So if you wanted to install an LED into this, you could have that being lit up in there as well. So a lot of really nice detail inside the cockpit. And then just as a reminder, you do have the seated pilot figure that can go inside the cockpit there as well. I've not gone ahead and put any of the pilot character figures here together yet or anything, but these are really nice and do have some nice options and details and things that you have with these. One other really cool thing about this too is that like for the helmet parts for Amuro and Sayla, you have clear parts for the visors of the helmets as well, so you can use those. You can paint that if you wanted to, but you can just leave it clear for the visor on the helmet. Yeah, really nice. So yeah, the kit definitely doesn't have like the solid feel that we typically expect from like a Gundam model, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's going to fall apart. It's just that you're going to want to be a bit more careful with it. Like the wings still fold up here and it transforms in the same way you might expect. This part is going to slide in there like that. You can fold the nose down and then the wing part here slides up and folds in to have it transform. And see that instrument panel part in the inside there keeps wanting to fall off. This is one of the parts in particular that you're going to want to probably glue in there. So it's pretty simple, like the transformation of this, and then there's not really anything that you can do with it once it is transformed. It's kind of cool that they designed the kit in a way that you can still do the transformation as it's supposed to work. But yeah, it definitely does feel like you got to be extra careful with it. There's even a couple of parts here on the bottom that I've also left out for the time being, right in those two little spots there. There are these little tiny fin detail parts that you're supposed to move. So when it's just in this form, they're supposed to be standing up like that. When you transform it, you have to like take the parts out, like parts form it and just fold it down kind of. And because it's such a tiny little part, I didn't want to glue that in there quite yet. I didn't do that. And also just because you need to move it in order to transform it, I didn't want to glue anything just so that I could show you guys that transformation. But now that we're done with that, I guess I could go ahead and glue those on. But let's talk about some of the other included accessories that we have. So on here, which I guess I didn't show you guys yet, this also opens up. This part also going to be pretty fragile, but you can open that up and you got the missiles right in there, which is a really cool detail. But with that folded in, you have this little cap piece here, which will go in to cover up that detail, which I actually kind of like how that detail looks like there like that, but you can cover that up with this part, and this part just tends to fall out pretty easily. So it's kind of mentioned that this is just kind of a piece that you just can like set on there if you're planning on having this closed. And again, I would recommend gluing it on there if you wanted to, just so that you don't lose this, because if you have that on there and you're gonna be handling the kit at all, more than likely that's gonna come out and you might lose it pretty simply. And another one here in the cockpit, actually on the chair, on the one side there, you'll notice is like the camera scope sight thing in the anime is meant to like fold out and go in front of the pilot's face. So we have that just as an option part, so you can just swap that out if you wanted to have this looking like, so it has like the targeting system, whatever, that's kind of folded out and in front of the pilot. You can use that. And then you've got these missiles, which will attach underneath the wing. Now, these don't have like a hole in the back. If you wanted to display these on an action base and make it look like they're actually flying or something, you'd have to go ahead and drill a hole or something in the back of these. But these will attach right onto here, onto the underside of the wing, just like that. And you do have one for the left and the right side, so you got two of those. And then for when you want to display it and fly it, here's our action base adapter. Now this will fit onto the underside. These doors you need to open up just like that, and this is where your landing gear will attach to if you want to have the landing gear, but we'll get to that in a second, because for attaching this onto an action base you need to actually remove those doors entirely. I don't know why they didn't make this piece so that it would fit on there with the doors open, but you're going to remove that and then this will fit in there in its place, and you can just put this up on an action base to have it displayed in a flying position. So that is going to work pretty well. But for attaching the landing gear, you just want to leave those doors on. The landing gear is going to look like this. Really nicely detailed. You even have a little kind of clear part on there, which again I think is supposed to be like a little light or something, sort of like a headlight, just for like the landing gear there anyway. Even on the inside of there, a lot of really nice detail. This will plug up into here. And then not only that, but you have this piece here, which I guess is supposed to be like a toe attachment piece here, which can plug up into, there's a little spot right there where this plugs into, but even in the manual it says to drill that out if you want to use this part, because it doesn't, I don't know why, they just made it so that like it doesn't, that hole is like a recessed detail, but not deep enough for this to actually stay in place. So you need to drill that out if you want to use this part. Or I guess, I don't know, actually, to be honest, I'm not sure what that part is actually for, because for like a towing, here we have this part, just this one single piece here, but does have some nice detail on this. This will actually fit around the wheels of the front landing gear here, pretty loosely, albeit, but again, it's just for like display purposes to make it look like it has this like a towing thing here attached onto the front. So that's pretty nice. And then for the back landing gear here, there's a couple pieces that make up this. It sort of looks like a guy waving, doesn't it? So you have these 3 panels that you need to pop off and then kind of reattach. So these aren't necessarily hinged, so you have to kind of like parts form them. But all right, and so again, without gluing anything, it is going to be pretty touchy and kind of difficult to get the parts to stay there. They do stay in place, but again, if this is how you want to display it, I would recommend using some glue. There is actually another piece of the landing gear that does fit in there, but it's not like a really tight fit. It's the kind of thing you're definitely going to have to glue into place. It just kind of goes right deep down inside there. And yeah, so for right now, I'm going to leave that off. Another part of the kit, actually, I realized I forgot to show you guys, like here at the tail, these parts do actually open up. You can open up this part, these fins here at the back, or flaps, I guess would be the correct word, probably, there on the back of the tail. So that's pretty awesome too. And so that's pretty much everything. And as you can see, like it again just has a ton of detail everywhere on this kit, and it all is going to look really nice with a little bit more kind of modeling work done on it. Oh, oops, and almost forgot one other thing too, is you have these parts right here, which are supposed to be for like when it's parked. These go like underneath the tires like that, just to keep it rolling there. And you've got 2 of these for both of the back sets of landing gear. And while it pretty much covers all of the details that you could possibly want for something like this, one thing that I do wish that maybe it had would be like for these parts here on the wings, there's parts like right here that I feel like are supposed to be like lights on there. And then like here, for example, at the back end, I think that's probably supposed to be like a little light there, kind of typically where aircraft would have lights. It would have been nice if those were like actual tiny little clear parts. Again, it would have been just more like really tiny little finicky parts on there. But I mean, if we're gonna go the distance of making this as like a proper aircraft model with all the details and all the little finicky bits and everything that kind of comes along with that, might as well had some clear parts. So I think I've seen some different custom builds where people did actually rebuild those as just little clear parts in there for the lights. So that might be something to think about. But anyway, guys, thoughts on the kit. Overall, really, really cool kit. It's not something that I would necessarily recommend for everyone. I mean, just because of like what you've seen here today, it's definitely a bit more of a modeler's kit than like your standard Gunpla kit. I think I've said that a few times, but just to make that very clear for everybody, just because I'd hate to see someone disappointed with this kit, getting it thinking that it's going to be like something similar to the typical kind of Gunpla kit that you're used to, and then you find that it actually takes a little bit more skill. Emphasis on a little bit. I mean, all it really needs is just you need to glue a couple of parts here and there, really, and that's kind of about it. So it's not like it's a difficult kit by any means. I just want you guys to know what you're getting yourselves into ahead of time so that you can just be prepared for like what's going to be required or certainly recommended for a kit like this. But yeah, a little bit of extra love and this thing will be looking even better, and it's going to be looking really nice. I don't exactly know what my plans are for this at the moment. I'm definitely going to want to do like some sort of custom color scheme on this. I just don't know exactly what yet, and I've got other projects that I'm working on at the moment, so not going to be painting this for right now, but definitely looking forward to painting this at some point in the future, and I'll have to just think about kind of what exactly I might want to do with this one. But for right now, I'm glad that I finally took the time to build it. Like I said, it's been just like sitting in my backlog for a long time since my trip to Chile. So again, thank you to my good friends there in Chile who gifted this kit to me when I was there. Very nice of them, and definitely looking forward to visiting again at some point in the future. But that's gonna just about do it for today's video, guys. If you do have any other questions about the kit, do feel free to let me know. It was a fun build and definitely something unique, definitely different from kind of what I'm typically building day to day, so I always like that. I just hope now that Bandai will reissue some more of these UC hardgraph kits for more people to enjoy them. So this being actually my first of the UC hardgraph kits that I've ever built, I'm looking forward to checking out some more in the future. But for now, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. If you want to check out some more Gunpla for yourself, of course you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. And until next time, if you guys wouldn't mind leaving a like if you enjoyed the video, making sure that you're subscribed, I really appreciate it, and I'll see y'all later. Have a great day. Bye, guys.